Portland loves its water. But is it worth spending more than $2 billion on? According to the city council, the answer is a unanimous yes. On Wednesday, the council approved the latest cost estimate for its new filtration plant, a whopping $2.13 billion. That's $300 million more than the last estimate, and more than 4 times what the project was supposed to cost when it was proposed in 2017.
We are hoping to break ground in the next couple of months. We are just awaiting final permits through the county.
That's Jody Inman, chief engineer for the Portland Water Bureau. And she explained that the things driving up costs for the filtration plant are many of the same things that are driving up costs of just about everything else. Things like inflation and supply chain issues. And as the Bureau has started getting bids for the work, they're competing with other projects across the country.
There's just a lot of work out there right now, a lot of big projects in the region and nationally. And so we see that increased competition, and that resulted in getting some higher bids. And that's really what we see in this recent cost increase.
But there are some other factors at play, too. The city has a hard deadline of September 2027 to have the plant fully up and running. Commissioner Mingus Mapps oversees the Water Bureau.
This filtration plant needs to be up and running in 40 months and 3 weeks. Every day there is a delay. If that will cost the people of Portland money, which they did not have to spend.
To understand the time crunch, you have to go all the way back to 2006. That's when the Environmental Protection Agency issued a rule requiring water districts to treat drinking water for contaminants. But Portland's water, which comes from the Bull Run watershed, was so clean that the city got an exemption. That only lasted till 2017, when a pathogen called cryptosporidium showed up in routine testing. And the EPA said we had to start treating our water no later than 2027. Now, the city has butted heads with a vocal group of local residents who feel their rural East County neighborhood is the wrong place for a 50-acre filtration plant. With the deadline looming, any delays compress the construction timeline and drive costs up. Lauren Corder lives next door to the proposed site and is part of a group that is seeking to overturn county approvals of the project.
We filed our appeal, and it's still in process. We can expect maybe a decision in 8 months or so.
The plant would have massive impacts on a rural neighborhood, she argued. And she thinks the city, they picked that location on a small road called Carpenter Lane because they thought there would be less local opposition.
They chose Carpenter Lane. They felt like they could get through the process quicker and avoid delays. Maybe because we're a bunch of country bumpkins, I don't really know. And they didn't expect us to fight back. But the delays are coming. They're not going to meet their deadline.
Inman told me that locals like Corder, they have every right to oppose the project. But delays are part of the reason the price keeps going up.
It's impacted it fairly significantly, We appreciate it's a public process and everybody has the right to participate and their voices to be heard.
When she said so at the city council meeting on Wednesday, it did not sit well with Corder.
Jody Inman got up there and said, we have to keep moving forward. We have to do this. We cannot delay anymore. If we delay, this is going to cost us more. And it felt very hurtful, to sort of blame us. She said, it's costing more because of the delays.
Corder said that if the appeals don't work, her group is willing to sue. But Inman said, as of now at least, she still thinks they'll get the job done on time.
We have contractors that have schedules that show that we can get the work done. It is tight, I will say that.
But with an extra $300 million tacked on, will Portlanders see their bills go up? The answer is yes, with a caveat. Rate increases were already going to happen. We're looking at a 7.9% increase this year, and we'll see 8.1% increases next year and every year after that until 2030.
These increases won't increase the rates any more than is already in the projected rate increase. So we've already accounted for it.
But the Bureau will have to trim the fat elsewhere. They'll delay some seismic improvements and other big projects, and they're probably going to have to dip into their reserves. But with so much uncertainty remaining in the project, from labor costs to inflation to the ongoing opposition from people like Corder, I asked Inman if this is the last time we're going to see the price jump.
I always hope it's the final estimate.
Kale's with me now. This story drives me crazy. There's 4 people in my house. Every 3 months now, we're paying $500 for Portland water. And now you're telling me it's going to go up another 50% in the next 5 or 6 years?
I think I got you beat. There's 2 people in my house. We pay about $300. So, yes, that is what I'm telling you. But I'm not telling you that. That's what the city's telling you. Don't take it out on me.
Oh, man. Well, I'm not. But this does kind of seem like we heard last year. Prices going up, up, up.
You know, it really struck me when I was listening into the city council meeting. I mean, you had Mayor Wheeler up there saying, this is so expensive. How much is too much? Where is the ceiling on this thing? Which was almost a carbon copy of what he said when it was 1.8 billion, and it's now 2.13. And then, just like last year, they voted unanimously to approve it.
It feels like a runaway train. I know we need it, but weren't there cheaper options?
There were. I mean, places like Seattle and San Francisco, they use ozone and UV to treat their water. It doesn't filter it, and that's the big benefit of filtration. Is there's a thing called turbidity, which is basically a fancy word for you have a lot of stuff in your water, which can happen if there's a mudslide after a storm or a big fire, like we had the Camp Creek fire up in Bull Run last year. And so when you filter, you can take that stuff out. When you treat it, you don't, and that's the big benefit that we're paying $2 billion for.
Wow, yeah. And okay, overall, how does it go from 500 million to 2 billion?
Well, I mean, like you heard in the piece, there is inflation, there's supply chain issues, there's these delays related to the opposition, but there's also other parts of this project that have been added since that 500 million. There's about 7 miles of seismically reinforced pipe that's part of this project now that wasn't in that 500 million that was originally proposed to City Council in 2017.
Wow, it just, I feel a taxpayer revolt coming. It's not directed at you. It's not directed at you, but it's certainly not fun. All right, thanks, Cale. Appreciate it.